All right, beautiful people. Hope you're having a blacknificent day. Today's guest is no stranger to the show. Admire him at the most high, and he is doing an amazing thing. Commutes his time between Michigan and Kansas, where he is a professor. Joined today, Dr. Randal Maurice Jelks. How you doing today, sir?
I am so well. Thank you.
Looking good, man. You looking real good, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't look like you got a son named Jonathan and a daughter named Johanna.
Well, I do. So,
Everybody know your son. Like Jonathan is like he's everywhere, man.
oh, he is. He is indeed.
And that's a testament to you and your beautiful wife.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank
Yep.
you. Thank
Who
you.
is also from Muskegon Heights. I gotta put
Yep.
that out
She is indeed.
there. Right. So, Doc, you are a professor at what college now?
I'm a professor at the University of Kansas.
And
Jayhawks.
what subject matter?
I I teach really in the area of African and African American studies and American studies.
Okay, all right. I'm taking you must be tenured now because you've been there a while.
Oh, I was tenure when I arrived on campus.
Woo! Whoa! When you got it, you the man, brother. You just arrive on campus. You didn't have to sit around and wait 10 years and five
Well,
years.
I had already done work, and that work, they wanted me. They had to honor the work.
Oh my God! So how long you been at University of
Uh,
Kansas?
this is why I started in 2008, so time has flown. I started in January 2008, and I've been there since.
Now, of course, this is not your first book. You wrote quite a few books. You got award-winning books.
Yeah,
Uh, African Americans in the Furniture City, the
yep,
struggle for civil rights, struggle in Grand Rapids, and
yep.
Benjamin Mays, Schoolmaster of the Movement, a biography. And so you've been out here for a while writing about
Yes.
different subject matters. Can you talk about this book and why is it so important?
Well, this book is different because the other books were kind of straight ahead histories. One is of a small Black community in on the western side of Michigan, not Detroit, and what's their with experience looked like there. Benjamin Mays was the president of Morehouse College. Um, Mentored such people as Martin Luther King, Julian Bond, who's of Black men who went on to do great things throughout the country. Uh, and then the book that I wrote before this one was about faith struggles, called "Faith and Struggle in the Lives of Four African Americans: Ethel Waters, Mary Lou Williams, um, uh, Eldridge Cleaver, and Muhammad Ali." I wanted to
Wow.
look at how they thought about and lived out their own kind of faith. And we often think about them as athletes and not as or entertainers. In the case of Ethel Waters and Mary Lou Williams, and how Eldridge Cleaver, who was a Black Panther, thought
Mm.
about all of these things. And so I wanted to write a book around those subjects. But this book is different because it's a collection of what I call meditations or essays to help us think about what we're experiencing today, but by using Dr. King's words, by reflecting on the letters from a Birmingham, the letter from a Birmingham jail. So this is different. I'm really trying to speak to young people.
Wow. Wow. That's good. So your focus is on young folks for this particular book.
Yeah,
And so what age demographics are you
yeah.
targeting?
Well, so let me tell you how the book started out. I was asked to go to Elmhurst College, now Elmhurst University, just outside of Chicago for Martin Luther King Day back in 2017. And I was to speak just after Trump was inaugurated president. President Trump was inaugurated. And I sensed that a lot of students were down or anxiety feel. And I wanted to go and try to take something in my talk to them and provide them hope and provide them guidance and remind them that, first of all, we think of Martin Luther King Jr. as some static person, but he was 26 years old, a 26-year-old clergy being swept up in the tides of history. 26. And so I wanted them to come away with some hope. And then after I gave the talk, and students seemed to be receptive to it, ding ding in my head, I need to write these as a series of meditations so that they get something out of it, that they realize that struggle is a necessary part of life, and that we have to always struggle to keep our place in a democracy and open up democracy to all people.
Right, right. How do you compare the movements from the 60s and 50s to the movements of today?
Well, it's different, right? In the 50s, you think of the 50s, I think going all the way back to the 1930s when people are doing all the groundwork, doing all legal trials, doing all the kinds of work that needed to go on. And then in the 50s, it was the conditions were right for mass protests. Um, what my worry is that is today is that mass protests can only go on so long and then people burn out. And so
Mm,
you really have to have those organizations strong, like the NAACP, the Urban League, to carry on the fight when nobody's looking. And we need both kinds of organization. So in the civil rights movement, you had young people's organizations, SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, like Black Lives Matter. They are grassroots organizers everywhere. But you also had the NAACP, who was still going to court, who goes to the Congress and lobbies and keeps an eye out on bills that are being trying to be snuck through. So that's the difference. The 60s had those organizations like a large council, and I do worry that today that we pit those things against each other when they should be all allies, not always agreeing. I don't think that's the
right,
case. There are differences, but that they should ally to for the greater good.
right. Is the NAACP in your opinion, doing what they should be doing, or are they still
Well, they
effective?
are. I mean, look, the NAACP is the oldest civil rights organization in the country. I mean, you don't exist over 100 years. You know this being a business person. You don't exist 100 years as a business if you don't have something foundationally set up. So the NAACP is doing things. They could do more. There used to be lots of youth councils all over the place, and there were much more organizers going out all over the place. And I hope they return to that tradition down the road because we need all of those things.
Right, right.
And the
What do
one,
you think,
one,
Dr. King?
one we haven't mentioned about Martin Luther King. He's a child of the Black Baptist preachers uh, and a Black Baptist church. So those congregations, whether they're faith congregations, Islam, Christianity, or whatever, we still need those too.
What do you think Dr. King would say about the Voting Rights Act, the Voting Rights Bill that hasn't been voted on in Congress?
Well, I mean, of course, the voting rights, this suppression of the vote should be noted is not just about Black people, right? The suppression of the vote is to keep people away from the polls. So a tiny minority, what we call a plutocrat, might run the country. People forget that Jim Crow, as we knew it in terms of voting, suppressed not just Black votes but white voters too, and that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's a game right now, but it allows a small elite to run the country, in a country that is becoming much more ethnically diverse from countries outside of Europe.
Wow. How long did it take you to write your book, Letters to Martin?
Well, I started in 2017. I had another book that I just mentioned, the Faith and Struggle book, and I kept just kind of taking a chunk at a time and writing and rewriting, and really got after it in when my other book came out in 2019.
Okay. Now, do you have any speaking engagements? Are you going on tour or anything?
Oh, well, both tours, kind of tours, both virtual and a few public. So I'll be in Atlanta at Kennesaw State University. I'll be in the city proper at Acapella Books, and I got book virtual tours in DC at Busboys and Poets, novel books, and a live event in Memphis, novel books. So I'm all over the place. Um, and I'm really grateful to the independent bookstores, Black-owned bookstores, other kinds of independent bookstores. They've been very generous in giving me an opportunity to share my work with them.
Wow. How can we buy your book? Is it on Amazon or some other websites?
Sure, it's on Amazon .com, of course, Barnes and Noble. You can find the book or directly from the publisher, Chicago Review Press. But if you have a good local bookstore in your city, I recommend it. Last night I was did a virtual piece with Schuler Books in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Schuler has Grand Rapids and Lansing, and they have a store in Ann Arbor. And I did all three stores at once in a virtual talk last night. I'm doing Detroit on tomorrow night, virtual talk at Source Booksellers in Detroit, a Black women-owned bookstore in Detroit near Wayne State University.
That's dope.
So I'm excited about this. I'm getting to go, if not in person, virtually to talk to people, and people are signing up, and that's exciting.
Uh,
And so I'm very happy about that.
are you on social media?
Oh, absolutely. I'm Randal Maurice Jelks _books or Dr. Jelks, two Instagram accounts. I'm on Twitter, Dr. Jelks, and DrJelks on Twitter, DrJelks Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Facebook author page, so people can catch me. And then I have a website, RandalMauriceJelks.com.
Well, I know you're a history buff, so how much do you
I'm
know
a
about
professor of history. Not just a buff.
you're a griot? A griot. How much do you know about your family tree?
Oh, I know quite a bit about my family tree, Paul. My family's from Louisiana. Um, they hail from, West Feliciana, East Feliciana Parish, Point Coupé Parish. They hail from Lafourche Parish, and they were uh, part of my family. You've heard about, in the early 19th century, Georgetown sold slaves into Louisiana. That's part of my family's history. Part of
Oh
my
wow.
family's history traces itself back to Haiti, being when the French were escaping Toussaint L'Ouverture, and French slave owners first went to Cuba, then to Louisiana, and brought in people. So my family hails from Louisiana. I was born in New Orleans, lived there till I was 14, and so the other part of them were sold down the river from Virginia into
Wow.
Louisiana. So I'm lucky. I'm lucky to know a lot about my family's history.
That's amazing. So you have that Haitian connection. Of course, we all come from the motherland, but that's good
Right.
to know all that.
Right. Well, but we had to make different stops, different places, right?
Right. Right. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know if you know this, Paul. I've lived in Ghana, and taught at the University of Ghana on 2 occasions.
Wow. No, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. So, I've traveled to West Africa till COVID. I was last in Senegal giving a lecture at Diop University in Senegal back in May of 2019. So, yeah,
Really? Did you
yeah.
share all this on your social media?
Yeah, on Instagram and other stuff. Yeah, of course, I'm always sharing something about that. So yeah,
Wonder why I haven't seen. I see your son. He's
well,
good at it.
he's different. I I'm a dad. I'm an old school. I'm a boomer. I'm more conservative about the whole thing. I don't have no hip hop in me.
You got it in you. You got the swag. You got the swag. The old school swag. You know what I mean? So that explains why your son started a club in Ghana.
Yeah, yeah, he's still working at it, because I was fortunate enough to take both my kids to Ghana, and so they've been there, and we have friends and deep ties there in the country.
That's good. Dr. Randal Jelks, man, you're amazing. Always good to see you. Can't wait to see you in person, to get that energy from you, to learn from you. Family, go online. Please buy his book. Please buy his book, Letters to Martin. It's on Amazon. It's online. Follow him. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. You won't get no foolishness. Trust me.
I so appreciate being on the show, and always my grandparents always say, "Thank you and please take you where power and money won't." And thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Doc. Peace and blessing to you. Have a great day.
Alrighty, peace.
All right.